guys, so today we'll be doing a vocabulary lesson, and my objective is determine or clarify the meaning of unknown and multiple meaning words and phrases based on grade 1 reading and content, choosing flexibility from an array of strategies. We would do this by using sentence level context as a clue to the meaning of a word or phrase. Yesterday we went over how to use context clues in just sentences. So today we'd be doing it in text, like a story. And so what we would do for a review is just go over sentences. They'd be written on the board, and I'd read them and I'd tell them the word, and they would tell me what they think that word is based on the sentence. And so just an example, the word would be shout. And the sentence is, Rebecca shouted to her sister that was on the other side of the field to come here. She shouted so that her sister could hear her. And so they would just tell me what they think shout means, and then I would tell them what it meant. And then another example would be, the hue of her eye was green, and the word would be hue, and they could tell me that hue means color. Just kind of simple words, that way they could really get the strategy down. So today I would start the book Junie B. Jones, Cheater Pants, and this is the first grade of Junie B. Jones, so it would be first grade. And I'm only going to read the first chapter today, like for the video, but like in my class we would either read like a chapter a day, or like if I had 20 minutes set aside to read, then I would just read for 20 minutes and then stop whenever that time was up. So that's what I'll do, and then we'll go over the procedures. And there's only one picture, like in this chapter, but whenever I was in elementary school, my teacher around Halloween, she read us a mystery book, and it was a chapter book, and there was no pictures, but I just liked being able to just have my own imagination of what I thought everyone looked like and what everything seemed like, in my head. I don't know, so that's what I would do, chapter books and like picture books as well. Okay, well, maybe there's two pictures. Okay, it says the first chapter is A+ Meg, and this is her journal, the first part. Okay, Monday. Dear first grade journal, yesterday was the weekend. The weekend is the nickname of Saturday and Sunday, only I don't know why. Those 2 days zoomed by speedy quick, and I would stop and I'd be like, okay, does anybody know what zoomed means? Based on what that sentence says, those 2 days zoomed by speedy quick. What do y'all think that word means? And we talk about it just a little bit. I would ask them to just think about it. Just wait, and we'll discuss it after. Okay. That's how come I didn't have time to do my homework. Because what do I look like? A clock or something? Last night I begged to stay up to do it, but Daddy said no, and he turned out my light. That was not helpful. Now I am at school, and Mr. Scary said to please take out our homework. I feel sickish inside. I hope that Daddy is proud of himself. From Junie B., first grader. And then now that was a thing, and now it starts regular. Next to me, May got her homework out of her backpack. She put it on her desk. She smoothed out her paper and smiled. I'm sure I'll get another A+ on this one. I get an A+ on all of my homework papers, Junie Jones, she said. One time, my homework was so perfect, Mr. Scary sent a happy note home to my mom and dad. I did a shrug. Blah, 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 I said back. And then I would ask, okay, well, do y'all know what shrug means? And then, I would kind of, do it that way. I could show them, and then I would tell them that we would discuss it after. So they would just be thinking about the words. Okay. May did a mad face at me. Then she quick tapped Lenny on the back of the head. Lenny, did you hear what I just said to Junie Jones? She asked. I told her that I always get A+ on my homework. Lenny turned around. Please don't touch my hair, May, he said. I used my brand new gel to spike it up today, and I don't want you messing it up. I waved at Lenny across the aisle. I would never touch your hair, Leonard, I said. Your hair looks like an interesting glob of artwork almost. And artwork should just be gawked at. Okay, and then I would stop and ask, okay, do we know what gawked means? And then, they would tell me, hopefully. Lenny nodded. Thank you, Junie Jones. You're welcome, Lenny, whose last name starts with an S, I think, I said. After that, I smiled at May very smuggy. Lenny likes me way better than he likes her. May squinted her eyes at me. How come you didn't take your homework out yet, Junie Jones? She asked. You're not following directions very well this morning, are you? I did a big breath. Then I quick reached out into my backpack, and I pulled out a rumpled paper. And then I would ask, well, do we know what rumpled means? And she pulled out a rumpled paper. And then, and I pretended it was my homework. There, I said, there's my homework. Now please mind your own beeswax, you snoopy pooper, May. May's face got reddish and fleshy. She started to raise her hand to tattletale. Only just then the teacher called her name. May, it's your day to take the attendance sheet to the office, he said. Would you like to come up here and get it, please? Yes, she said. I would love to, Mr. Scary. The attendance sheet is when teachers send the names of absent children to the office. I do not actually approve of that practice. May hurried to the front of the room. I'm never absent, Mr. Scary, she said. I'm always here. Have you ever noticed that? Huh? Have you ever noticed how I'm always here? Mr. Scary closed his eyes for a second. Oh, yes, May, he said. Believe me, I've noticed. May did a giggle. Also, I'm always punctual, she said. Have you noticed that too? Have you noticed how punctual I am? And then I would ask, okay, do we know what punctual means? Based on what she's saying and what she's talking about, we can kind of figure it out. But then she tells you, so it's kind of, this one's an easy one. She smiled at the class. Punctual means on time, everyone, she explained. Last year, I was so punctual, I got the Punctual Award. The Punctual Award is an award for the child who is the most punctual. Mr. Scary stared at her. He said, to please stop saying punctual. After that, May took the attendance sheet and she skipped to the door. Don't worry, room 1. I will get this attendance sheet to the office all safe and sound, she said real loud. Then everyone who is in here will get reported to the principal, and that's exactly what they deserve. Mr. Scary did a sigh. Please, May, just go, okay? He said. May did a wave, and then she hurried out the door. After she was gone, I roamed my eyes around the room. All of the children had their homework paper out, but me. My insides felt sickish again, because pretty soon Mr. Scary would find out that I didn't do my assignment. I swallowed real hard. And here's a picture. My eyes kept on roaming around, and then what do you know? They roamed over to May's desk, and surprise, surprise, I saw her homework paper sitting right there. It was right out in plain view, I mean. My heart pounded and pounded at the sight, because my brain was getting an idea, that's why. I tapped on my chin, very thinking. Then, quiet as a mouse, I pulled May's homework a little closer, and I copied what it said. After I got done, I breathed a sigh in relief, because now I had my homework paper. I smiled to just myself, then I closed my eyes and I whispered thank you to May for letting me borrow her homework. Okay, that's it for this chapter. Okay, so the first thing that we would do is we would play Word Detective, and I would pass around these little magnifying glasses, which I got these from Oriental Trading, and they were really cheap. You can buy them, like a set of them for not a lot of money. But I would, what we would do is we would just talk about the words, and I would read the sentences, like that those words were in the book, and we would talk about it, and I would let them come up and see if they knew what it meant. And then next what we would do, oh, well, I wanted this, the reason why I would give this, I mean, there's really no point in it, but it's just a way to kind of get the kids, like, something hands-on to feel and it's cute. And it goes to like the detective part of it. So yeah, anyway, so we would just talk about the words and be detectives to figure what that was, what they meant. And then we'd do a fill in the blank. And I would have made something, but my printer isn't working, so I just wrote it. But it'd be fill in the blank, and we would do like the first 2 in class. And I would show them how we would look at the words beside it to figure out what that word meant, and to figure out that that word goes in that blank. And so the first one is just an example. It said, Lexi didn't know the answer, so she did a blank with her shoulders. And I would be like, okay, which one of these words do we use our shoulders with? Like, we don't use our shoulders for rumpled or for golf or anything. So then they would know shrug. So we would go through all of those. And that should be not too hard for them to do, and maybe I could like group them in pairs for them to do the rest of them. And so for our closing activity, I would tell them to think about one sentence, per student, one word per student, and they would make a sentence with that word. And then after they thought about it and wrote it down, I would have each of them come up, and we would they would read their sentence to the class, and I would be like, okay, can you guess the word that they were going to say before he said it? And then homework, I would do like this little 5 square thing, kind of like a 4 square, but it's not. It's like a 5 square thing. Can you see that? I can. But anyway, I would want them to draw a picture in each box for each word, and I would want to hang this up because I always like to. I don't know, maybe I'm artsy, but I would like to hang up what we're learning about each week. But this will be hung up by the word wall. And so for my enrichment, I would give them the book. Hopefully we would have a book for each student, or I would just give them like a typed out one, just typed out of the book. And I would tell them to find more unknown words and to try to define them, and I would help them with that. And then remediation, I would go over in detail with them how to really figure out what the word means. So we would go over what we did the first time, just talking about the words and talking about the sentences and how we figured out what those words meant. And then special needs is they would work with a paraprofessional, and I would do what we did with the remediation. I would work one-on-one with them, and we would really go over how to use context clues to define the word. Yeah, so that's it. So thank y'all. See you later. Bye.